Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great time out there today. We're going to continue trying to read over Sunless Citadel. We tried reading it over last week and I didn't have the energy to do it. Don't know exactly why, I just couldn't. Hmm. But that whole week was full of doing half things, so. Um, We're looking at the Sunless Citadel. I guess we should start at the very beginning. This is Sunless Citadel, which is from Tales of the Yawning Portal. Tales of the Yawning Portal is, of course, the book that we are going to currently utilize. No music today, I'm just not feeling it. From the Yawning Portal has it's like 7 different adventures. They say that they're all extremely deadly adventures, and they want to give players the idea of like you can and will die in this. I personally feel that it's 5th edition, and I know people have done stat things and they're like, oh, it's about the same, if not deadlier, in certain aspects. But I don't think so. I think the current edition will be a little weaker, but that's not necessarily true, and I'm not going to bother spending a ton of time researching it. I'm just going to look at it and say, do I think this is deadly? Which there might be things in it where I'm like, this is very deadly, and there might be things in it where I just say, like, I don't see how this is deadly at all. A well-coordinated team can handle it. But I think the big thing is always that question of, what is your party? Because what's deadly for some people is not necessarily going to be deadly for other people. You got somebody who walks up to a puzzle and they're just bad at puzzles. They're essentially lost they can't do anything. But you put somebody who's like really good at puzzles and it's like, oh, this is easy. So I think I think any kind of foreboding death that they suggest in these things will come directly from the idea of like how much the group is working together, coordination, as well as like puzzles and stuff and changes that have been made over time to the understanding of the game. So I last time, it didn't go up on any video or anything like that, so if you're missing out, you're gonna be like, oh man, I missed this whole beginning section. But basically, there's an apple underneath a citadel, and an evil druid is hanging out with the apple. The apple was made by a vampire was killed by a vampire hunter, and so the wooden stake somehow infused with the magic of the vampire to create this evil tree, which creates an evil apple. Twice a year. It's called a Golthias Tree. Here's a quick explanation right here that I've just highlighted. Basically, it's during summer it produces a red apple and everything grows and is amazing and all that stuff, and during winter it produces a like white apple, and that just destroys everything. If I wasn't really thinking that much about it when I first read it, but if I were gonna make any singular changes, I'd probably go for I'd make it a ghost apple instead of an albino apple. A ghost apple is what happens when you've got a tree and it's got apples and and freezing temperatures hit, and the apple will actually get covered in ice and frost, and then inside the apple slowly rots away on its own, and then the sludge and slush comes out of the bottom section of the frozen ice, because it doesn't like collect over the entire apple all the way by the time that happens. But the albino apple is also super cool. I think both work really well. I just like the imagery of you having to pick up this remnant of an idea of what was beautiful. Like, it's not even the thing itself anymore. It's like this just full on there is no more life idea. But that's neither fully here nor there. I'm gonna hop on to the channel's Discord real quick. If anybody wants to hang out there, they can do so. Setup that I'm streaming. And we'll see what happens there. But yeah. So for the adventure that you go through about 4 different locations: Oakhurst, a Kobold Den, Goblin Lair, and a Hidden Grove. They say that the Oakhurst doesn't even really matter because Oakhurst is just where you get your information. So literally, you could just start the party with, you received valuable intel from Oakhurst, and then you move on to the Kobold Den, the Goblin Lair, and the Hidden Grove. Um, so skipping over all that kind of stuff, they also make a note that the map is really difficult, so you should have a dedicated mapper for the party. I agree with that sentiment, but also feel that you shouldn't be too hard on that dedicated mapper because I've tried mapping before, and oh boy, I'm sure it's easy for some people, but for me it was much easier just to be like, I kind of know where we are and I kind of know where we need to go. And then the time of the year is going to affect a lot of things. They say that you should probably, if you want the party to be involved with the apple at all, you should pick whether they go before summer or before winter solstice, and that way you can kind of like arrive at the same time. I agree with that sentiment. In fact, I would suggest 9 times out of 10 that you do that because that's the most interesting part of the Sunless Citadel as far as the goal. You know, he's finding the Golthias Tree, having it in full bloom, and maybe even if you're trying to get rid of the tree, give it some kind of a way to defend itself or something like that. It really depends on what you're trying to do with the tree and everything like that. But like otherwise, you know, it honestly, if the tree isn't important to you and what's important is the Sunless Citadel, then honestly you can just make any goal the goal, because who cares at that point. The Sunless Citadel needs the tree in quotes because that's what it was like written for, but honestly, I can tell you, and I don't mean to be like I don't mean to be like I'm all knowing on these things, but you know, if you're going to the Sunless Citadel and you don't want to give the party the Tree of Golthias as the thing that they got to be dealing with, you can just change that. Like, it's gonna be easy, no problems, no muss, no fuss. I'm sure there's stuff in here that explains like why it's so integral to the Citadel and everything like that, but you know, you just do the work and you can rewrite things. It's a D&D. Everything can get rewritten. I like these rats. Poor little rat. These rats are having a bad time. Anyway, adventure hooks. Adventurers can find the Sunless Citadel within a remote and lonely ravine. Characters can be drawn to the dungeon for any of the following reasons, and then they give a list of reasons. You could be going for glory. Of course you're going for glory. You're PCs. You want to be famous. You want everybody to recognize your brilliance and your greatness. I apologize if I'm sounding sarcastic with that. I just adventure hooks are kind of all the same. Like you can have going for glory be your adventure hook for literally everything. And if somebody says, "Well, why are you coming to this town?" It's not necessarily a famous town or anything like that. It's like because I'm spreading my glory to the masses. That's why. Like if you got the truth of the matter is your hook is always a reason to go to any place. Just because as long as you don't have like direct conflicting information, like this next one, rescue mission. If you tell someone you hear your sister might be near where this Sunless Citadel is, you know, it's like, all right, that's enough. That's all I needed to know. Rescue mission. Let's do this. It's only if you have like way better information that says to go in a different direction that you would ever question going. I think that's really a big thing that might be a note for DMs to remember is when you've got your PCs down in front of you, write down what seems to be their motivation at some point. Or I know writing it down seems often, especially because I never do it, but if you can learn what your PC's motivation is and you can like click the little balls of the game to follow that, you pretty much got people who are going to follow your little tracks down the road that you try to put in front of them. And that's not a statement that you're railroading. That's just a statement that you're like making sure that the creation of the story event in front of them like makes sense. But yeah, it's let's see, rescue mission. Another party of adventurers went. They were never seen again. 2 human members of that ill-fated party were brother and sister. They're part of an important merchant family based in the nearby village. Okay. And so the head of the family, the matriarch, offers salvage rights to you and your team if You can return the 2 lost members of her family, or at least return the gold signet rings worn by the missing brother and sister. That's dark. She also offers a reward of 125 gold per signet ring per character. If the characters bring back the Hucreles in good shape, of good mind and body, she offers to double the reward. I don't know if good mind and body is going to work out. Clearly there's going to be something wrong with these people. But hey, 125 GP per signet ring. I might haggle a little if I were if I were the DM. I'd be prepared to haggle that price a little bit. I would definitely give the 125 GP per signet ring. I could see parties saying, now hold on, you say in good shape of good mind and body, but like, you know, we're going into a place, it's essentially guaranteed that this person is going to have some kind of a mental trauma issue going on. Not necessarily a massive one, but, you know, like, they are alone in this area till we go and pick them up. Things happen. And so maybe, perhaps, you give us, if we can bring them back alive, you give us, like, a 50% extra reward, and then if they're pretty much fine, you give us the double. And you know, you should haggle. You should be willing and able to haggle with them, because, you know, otherwise they're just gonna PC's so fast gonna be ready. Or maybe they'll take it like straight up. It depends. Some people like to try for the haggle. Other people like to try to. Other people are just like, I'll take whatever the price is as long as it sounds right. I think that's also a problem in D&D. Not like a huge problem, but like a small one, is like, the players don't have a good... The players will never have a great grasp on what is a good amount of money. All they know is everything that they want to buy costs thousands upon thousands of gold, and is going to require that they get lucky and find a hoard or something like that. Meanwhile, like, the rest of the world around you is the one that says, this is a good price, this is not a good price. And even you as the DM don't know what's a good or great price, because 125 GP per signet ring can be a really good amount of money, but divided amongst 4 people, let's say we get both signet rings. In fact, let's be super generous, and let's say it's we get both signet rings. That's 250, and then we multiply that by 2. Let's say we get the bodies back, so it's 500 gold. Divided amongst 4 people is going to be 125. We assume that 125 is the amount of money that we're going into. I don't know how long it takes to get to this place, but I'm guessing it's going to take at least a week, because that's usually how this kind of stuff can go. So we're looking at 7 days of travel, so D&D Beyond. So you'll have a lot of extra money as a result of this, but you're also going to go through a lot of hardship in exchange for this. It's 7 days of work and standard food. How much is food? No, not good. Whoops. Food. I'm gonna put lodging. Food and water, basic rules, food, drink, and lodging. So depending on how the party wants to be living their lives, meals cost are going to be an amount, lodging cost is going to be an amount. Wow, 7. So that's like 1 silver piece for a squalid lifestyle. That's pretty terrifying. Party's not going to have... party's basically going to eat their rations, whatever those are, so... 7 days worth of rations is... this doesn't have the rations on it. Okay. Or does it? There we go. 1 day's worth of rations is 5 silver, so let's say it's a week to get there. That's gonna be... let's say it's a week to get there, a week to get back, so that's 14 days. Let's say it takes 2 days... Let's say it takes a day to get through the entire Citadel. So that's 15 days. We're going to look at 7 gold and 5 silver, so minus 7.5. That leaves us over with 117 gold. That's not too bad. It depends on, like, how jobs are, things like that, how much you spend at your thing. But, like, your money is constantly going down, and as a PC, the question is, like, is this good? Because, you know, we don't know much about the local economy and stuff like that. Like, this job seems like pretty legit, so that might work out, but no idea. And also, like, how long till you get the next thing, and is your GM even counting this stuff? Because if your GM doesn't bother counting food and doesn't bother counting all the other stuff, then honestly that 125 is all profit, and it's just like, okay, so we're dealing with an all profit system, and so you just need to be aware of like how much of this is all profit. But that's also the best case scenario. 125 GP split up amongst 4 people is going to get us like 20 gold or something each. A little over 20 gold each. Maybe it was 30, 40? 125 divided by 4. 31 gold. 31 gold and 2 silver and 5 copper. So 30 gold is... I don't know. There's a part I feel like that is probably a lot for the average adventurer, but for me, like, I've played a lot of D&D, so like if you told me I'm gonna go get these rich kids for 30 gold, I would probably gripe a little bit, go like, all right, let's go do this. Goblin tribe investing the nearby ruins. Called the Sunless Citadel, no one knows why, sells a single piece of magical fruit to the highest bidder in Oakhurst once every summer. I wonder what that is! They've been doing this for the last 12 years. Usually the fruit sells for around 50 GP, which is all the townsfolk can bring themselves to pay a goblin. Great. The fruit, apparently an apple of perfect hue, heals those who suffer from any disease or ailment. They sometimes plant the seeds at the center of each fruit, hoping to engender an enchanted apple tree. When the seeds germinate in the proper season, they produce a twiggy mass of twisted sapling stems. Not too long after the saplings reach 2 feet in height, they are stolen every time. Townsfolk assume the goblins sent out thieves to ensure their monopoly of enchanted fruit. You are interested in piercing the mystery associated with how wretched goblins could ever possess such a wonder, and how they steal every sprouted sapling grown from the enchanted fruit seed. Moreover, you wish to find this rumored tree of healing, hoping to heal an ailing friend or relative. Man, ooh. For the current time, that did not age well as a statement, but it's a fair statement. You're dealing with townsfolk who can be kind of like assholes and stuff like that. So it depends on like how you're handling things. It's interesting that the townsfolk buy from the goblins the magic apple. That seems weird that you would do that. I wouldn't trust if I'm living in a world where goblins are a quote wretched species, which I think like let's see, like that's what I'm getting is the feeling from these villagers. They're like, I cannot bring myself to pay a goblin more than 50 gold. It's like, wait. So you're basically you hate them is what I'm getting from this. Yeah. Wretched goblins. Last couple lines here. How wretched goblins could ever possess such a wonder. It's fine. But it is one of those where it's like, I mean, whatever. Obviously, the goblins have something that you don't know and can't be bothered to learn how. I can see fusing a lot of these ideas together. I think these adventure hooks, though, will have a problem with party members who are like, now hold on, all goblins aren't all that bad. And I think that's also a true statement in general. Like, in general, I think you're going to find PCs questioning that unless, like, you guys have agreed, like, this is a game where monsters are evil. Or this is a game where certain species are recognized as evil, and that's just the way that it's going to be for the campaign. But that's a separate, like you're making a choice then, like this is just the way we're going to play this game. But in this one, if you assume that we're playing D&D 5e where Goblin is a playable race, and there's going to be lots of people looking weird at your Goblin companion buddy, and you're going to be maybe looking weird right back at them because you trust Babo the Gobbo because Babo the Gobbo gets you through thick and thin. I don't think you're gonna like the townsfolk when they say shit like, especially when they if one of them sees your friend Goblin and is like, we'll give you at best 50 gold. And it's like, you guys are awful. But I could see definitely fusing a lot of these together. The glory less so is a thing. I could definitely see you give the party the mystery portion of it. You let them know that the townsfolk are jerks about it, but more importantly is you let the person who would be interested in such a magical item, just like, hey, this is a magical item that you'd be interested in, and then they would be the ones who like kind of like look into it rather than caring about what's going on with the personal troubles of an entire town. Because outside of the idea that goblins are a wretched species in the game, more important is just the apple at that point is like wait, this is just it's just a magic apple that does this in the town, like that. I don't care what race you are, I don't care anything like that, unless it's a town or a city that's like dedicated to being that kind of a thing. Like if we went to a an elven citadel that was like 100% beautiful and everything like that, and they like create these seasonal magical fruits and all that stuff, and it's like always amazing and stuff, and then they have one thing that once a year like blooms beautifully, I'd be like, seems legit, sounds like the way they are. But if you're like anything other than that, and you're like, every year we get an enchanted apple, and it's like, what? um but like like the town having this apple every year, I would research. Goblins having the apple every year, I would research. Especially, my understanding is these are goblins in a more like difficult region, a more like broken down region with less ability to like easily grow fruit and stuff like that. I would be very interested. So I think you can focus on that. I think you can give the rescue mission. And I think what's an important thing to do with the rescue mission is don't see, they said they delved into the Sunless Citadel a month ago. I guess have them like not involve, like have them just tell them about the Sunless Citadel thing. I am guessing if I were playing this a little bit, I would maybe make the Hucrael family, this was their attempt to get the apple without having to pay the gold price, is like go find out what was going on with the goblins and then bring it back. But I could also see it as more of a like research expedition, and then like the family is just like, oh god no, like this was just like a fun research thing, and now it's become this like horrible tragedy for our entire family, is like my kids are gone for like a month. So yeah, it could work out in a lot of different ways. It should be fun. I would suggest creating more adventure hooks, specifically to try to get your party interested in what's going on, and altering what adventure hooks you do have. Really learn what your party wants and then push it. And perhaps even fuse them together a bit. Like you can fuse going for glory, rescue mission, and solving a mystery all into one thing. You just make the you tell one PC about the mystery. You have another. You have the family say like, one of our children was like a wizard and they studied this and they thought it was a really interesting thing, and now they're gone for a month. We'll pay you money to go check it out, and then maybe also add in an incentive of like, and if you could help them with their thing, like whatever gets them back home is the best thing. And then glory is, of course, we would resound your name throughout the halls of all places nearby. Oakhurst, community closest to the Sunless Citadel, village called Oakhurst, 900 residents, with farms, are human, a sizable minority of halflings, and a scattering of other races. So probably like a 70-20-10, something like that. Significant locations and the people to be found within them include the following: the village hall, where Mayor Boner Lang, I don't care. General store, you can buy a bunch of stuff. Owned and operated by Hucrael, which is the one who has the quest for the party. That's good to know and important to know. The shrine, advice, information, and healing are among the services dispensed at the village's shrine. It is to be maintained by Dem Corky Knackle, female gnome priest of Palor. I'm intrigued by that. I'll hang out at that shrine. Jail. Village Hall is a stout building where miscreants serve their sentences. Got it. A place I'm gonna have to get used to. Constable is Felocial, female half-elven veteran. Very cool. Commands a force of 16 guards and 4 scouts who keep this village safe. Dang! That's not enough. I mean, it's enough, but it's not enough. They're 1/8 challenge rating. With challenge rating 3 veteran and 4 scouts. What level are we? We're level what? 4? 1? At level 1, we can handle that. It's and that's being awful. It's just being like, can the PCs take them? If so, level 4 or 5 first level players. So yeah, 5 first level characters. The veteran's gonna be the problem, but you jump her first, and then you go around, and that's just me being, that awful self. I'm only thinking about like, how does combat affect things, because there's gonna be a moment probably of, it depends on how much you stick around this area. Blacksmith is repairing and forging arms and armor. Male dwarf commoner. Sure. I mean, obviously it's not a commoner, but I guess, let's see, any one language. So I guess they get any one skill, right? So that's okay. I hadn't thought about it like that, but I guess it's the way they want to play it. And then Garen, commoner, is the owner and barkeep of the Old Boar Inn. He serves food and drink. The place has a few rooms that visitors can rent. Very cool. No one knows for sure what the Sunless Citadel once was. Legends hint it served as a retreat of an ancient dragon cult. Probably true. It's very old. Old road skirts the Ashen Plain, lifeless area. History check knows that the desolation is attributed to the long ago rampage of a dragon named Ashardalon. Few locals also. Cattle herders don't graze their stock too far afield these days. They're frightened by stories of new monsters that maraud by night. From time to time, cattle and people who've gone out alone at night have been found dead the next day, bearing dozens of needle-like wounds. No one has seen the creatures that caused this mayhem, nor do they leave a discernible trail. Could it be? Seeds. Actually, that's a really good question about that, is how many seeds have they done? But then, has no one... Do they just buy the apple? What does the apple do again? Let's see what this apple does. How cool is this apple? How cool is this apple? Apple. There it is. The enchanted fruit has been widely dispersed through the surrounding land, promoting good and ill. The seeds grow into plant monsters. It grants vigor, health, and life. Interesting. To the area, I guess? I guess. The missing adventurers will include a fighter, a wizard, a paladin of Pelor, and a ranger. Caracas. Heard of Caracas before, haven't I? Nope. Apparently not. I swore I knew something called Caracas. Sir Brayford was not a local, and he had a magic sword called Shatterspike. Ooh, loot, 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 loot. +1 on attack and damage rolls. If it hits an object, the hit is automatically a critical, and it can deal bludgeoning or slashing to the object. Further damage from non-magical sources cannot harm. Okay, not crazy out there, but well, See, that's either an extremely powerful weapon or an extremely weak weapon. Breaking an object. Iron has an AC of 19. You need to saw through ropes, shatter a window, or smash a vampire's coffin. The only hard and fast rule is this. Given enough time and right tools, they can destroy any destructible object. Common sense, a character's success at damaging an object can fight or cut through a single section of stone wall and sword. No, the sword is likely to break before the wall does, except for Shatterspike! For the purposes of these rules, a object is a discrete inanimate item. Not a building or vehicle that is composed of many other objects. Okay. Time is a factor. You can assign an armor class and hit points to a destructible object. Okay. Blah, blah, hit points. It was like a barrel, smells like a chest. So you could theoretically, I know this is cheese in the game a bit, but theoretically I could, when fighting someone, instead of attacking them, I think it's a little unfair to make the AC for iron and steel to be 19 when literally no armor in the game reaches 19 AC. I think that's a little crazy, but you know, it's you're also trying to protect a fleshy body instead of protecting like more iron. So I can kind of see where they're kind of getting from. But I would say this looks very like usable. So you take Shatterspike, and instead of hitting an enemy, you say to the DM like, I aim for X weapon or Y armor. Smash that. If you're using these rules, this is the problem: is if your DM doesn't allow it, it's not useful. But literally, my first thought is if I own a weapon called Shatterspike and it does extra damage when I hit armor, I don't feel as afraid of. I don't feel like using my fighting style the way that people usually use the fighting style anymore. Like this changes. It's a game, you know, like this is a game, so it's not really real, but Shatterspike is so powerful, it changes the rules, because what is normally like you need to strike the right way to hit them off of their armor and things like that, I don't need to worry about it anymore, because one, my sword is apparently invulnerable to everything that is non-magical, and two, whenever I hit an object, that hit is automatically a critical hit and can deal the bludgeoning or slashing damage. So I could smash armor. Like, that's just the way it is. So I bring that down, smash a piece. Like, if a guy's got a shield, I'll just, like, hammer home in that. I won't even question too hard. I'll just do it and break that shield. No questions asked. Even if we assume that a shield for a moment utilizes the one of the bigger hit point values. It's not a cart, obviously, so it's not going to have 27 hit points. But even so, if I'm critting on my weapon, like if I've got a great sword and I'm doing 2d6 plus 10. Let's assume I'm doing the full Monty swing. So 2d6 plus 10, plus an extra 5 for strength. So that's going to be 15 minimum, with a average. Oh no, it's a crit, so it's going to be 4d6, with an average of, let's say 3. Let's just go low. So 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 plus 10, 12 plus 15 is exactly 27. I can cleave carts with a weapon like Shatter Spike, assuming for the moment that we use it as a great sword. I know it's a long sword, but honestly, it can be a great sword. No questions asked. And even we'd even get to 25 with a 2d10 off the long sword being wielded in 2 hands. So 2 hits and the shield's gone, which may not mean a lot, but it means enough for the rest of the party sometimes. And that's just assuming a plus 2 AC shield. I'm not even looking at what if I just smack his armor real hard, which I doubt that that 27 is going to be the number we're talking about here. We're talking like 10 or 5, I would say, as far as the HP value goes for these things, because a shield is not a medium-sized thing. It's like a small, at best, sized thing. So same with the armor. I'd say it's all 10 HP resilience. That person losing their equipment during battle would be devastating. This is a absolutely devastating weapon, is Shatter Spike. Just crack through things and keep moving. Maybe you should do that. You should give a party member Shatter Spike and let them realize how awful they can be with it. But Shatter Spike is powerful. Of course, if your DM doesn't like that, then, you know, your DM doesn't like that. I should lower this. Burp. Let's see. No one knows for sure, but let's just hint that it's a treat. Sometimes the goblins offer a different apple at midwinter. It's corpse white and poisonous, even to the touch. No samples of either apple are to be had. Garen the barkeep remembers the last time anyone, aside from Talgan and Sharwin, asked questions about the Sunless Citadel. 13 years ago, a grim human named Belloc stopped by. He had a very large pet frog. I remember that frog, I do. I was but a wee lad. I saw it and I said, "Sir, sir, may I touch the frog?" And he said, "No, you little shit." Oh gosh. Characters are anywhere between Oakhurst and the Sunless Citadel at night. 4 twig blights will attack them. The blights attack stealthily from out of nearby foliage. Sunless Citadel overview. Dragon cult that valued privacy and defense built the Citadel on the surface a long time ago. All record of the cult's name had vanished. Various sources believe this was associated with the dragon of Chardalon. Cataclysm that killed the cult members sank the fortress at the same time. Residual enchantments keep the structure surviving its descent into the earth. With the cultists dead, the cult weapons and other creatures move in, and they've survived here for hundreds of years. Goblins which belonged to Durbaluk, the tribe, Dominator, and Goblin, once patrolled the area around the ravine to rob passerby, but now the old road has fallen out of use. They rarely pay much attention to this entrance anymore. A tribe of kobolds has recently moved in to challenge their ownership of the fortress. Both groups are skirmishing as they vie for control. They're not overly concerned about the possibility of intruders, thus the cleft offers the characters a good opportunity to gain entry without attracting attention. The missing party that came here before did much the same. The rope left tied to the pillar near the ravine is theirs. Though the kobolds and the goblins claim the Sunless Citadel as their property, they've never visited all its chambers. They avoid entering the most secluded. Oh, I'm tired. Parts of the grove level. In the past, they feared the hidden grove was haunted. With the arrival of Belloc, that belief has been vindicated. He orders the goblins to distribute the midsummer fruit each year, and the goblins obey him out of fear. Wild. Kobolds and goblins respond similarly if attacked. Intruders who fall back to take a long rest before dealing with the leaders of an attacked community allow the creatures time to make preparations. Alerted monsters reinforce cleared rooms with forces previously stationed in other rooms. For example, 3 kobolds from one area 16 could be stationed in area 15 with orders to set an ambush for returning invaders. Or 4 goblins from 36 could be redeployed to 32 to guard against another intrusion. Keep track of such changes so that the characters don't encounter the same kobolds or goblins twice. Just reading it over again. Keep track of the changes so the characters don't encounter the same kobolds or goblins. Each regular kobold and goblin is likely to have 2d10 silver pieces, perhaps in the form of various coins and crude jewelry. The Citadel. See the old dragon from his throne sink with enormous ruin down. Ugh. Once you're ready to leave Oakhurst, adventure truly begins. Oh, it's only 7 miles. It took them a month to get new adventurers to check on their kids from 7 miles away? That's insane. A month? These are your children. They should have been back by like the end of a week. Been back after like 2 days. That's wild. Alright, we're gonna come back to the Citadel next time. I think we're gonna take a break. We're gonna switch over to playing some Control for now. So I'm gonna set that up, and then we'll end the stream and restart it for Control. It'll be a bit of a double feature almost. Not quite though. Maybe I'll also switch over to private channel, see if anybody wants to jump in. Now, I don't see anybody on right now, so I don't want to do that. All right. I'll be back in just a minute.